Patriots, let's get into this big deal between South Africa and the Ethiopian migrants. Now, if you remember, we touched on this back in 2020 after the Ethiopian Prime Minister's visit to South Africa, but we didn't dive into it too much. At that time, this deal between South Africa and Ethiopian illegal immigrants was making waves in the news. I came across this article on a website called pressreaders.com, and they've got some interesting details about it. So, these thousands of Ethiopian migrants living here have offered our government 100 million rand in exchange for permanent residence permits. Yes, you heard that right, Patriots. The spaza shop owners want to buy permanent residence in South Africa. And some South Africans still think that the spaza shop industry isn't making money. Let's not be fooled. The Minister of Small Business recently mentioned that small businesses contribute nearly 30% to South Africa's GDP, and she believes this should be even higher. She emphasized just 2 days ago that her department is working on drafting laws to regulate spaza shops properly. She's firm about removing foreign nationals from this sector because, let's be honest, many of them don't even qualify to run these businesses. A person comes here as a refugee, but they're billionaires, opening shops left, right, and center. So, Patriots, back to this SA Ethiopian deal. Now here's the kicker. While this offer was put on the table, the government didn't rush to accept it. This was in 2020, so we still don't know if the deal ever went through. The Ethiopians, through the South African Development Foundation, believed their money could help boost the economy and create jobs. But let's not be naive, Patriots. When foreigners talk about creating jobs, they're not talking about employing South Africans. No, they mean hiring other illegal immigrants to clean their shops or stand behind the counter and ask customers, "How can I help you?" That's the extent of their job creation. There was definitely some hesitation from the ANC, and for good reason. SADF claims to raise funds from individuals and organizations partnering with community-based groups to support those still suffering from the legacy of apartheid. Since 2019, these Ethiopians have been knocking on the doors of various government departments, home affairs, trade and industry, and even small business development with this offer. They even reached out to former Deputy President David Mabuza and the late Minister in the Presidency, Jackson Mthembu. Mthembu's personal assistant, Glory Dlamini, confirmed that they received the proposal, but it was rejected on the spot. She didn't mince her words, calling it a form of selling the country, and she even compared it to the infamous Gupta scandal. So these Ethiopians wanted to bypass our laws and get special treatment. But to be honest, can we blame them? After all, Zimbabweans were given permits without paying a cent, and we all know those permits were illegal from the start. And here we are, still dealing with the consequences of that. When their initial deal was rejected, these 5,000 Ethiopians, who run spaza shops and other medium-sized businesses, came back with a new offer. They pledged to contribute 20,000 rand each over 6 months, claiming that this money would kickstart SADF's industrial program. They had dreams of turning that 100 million rand into a staggering 63.5 billion rand over the next 20 years. And Patriots, they didn't stop there. They boldly claimed that this program would create 5 million jobs and ensure Black South Africans were the main beneficiaries. But let's be real. These are the same people who entered South Africa illegally, got refugee papers illegally, took over reserve sectors illegally, and now want to get permanent residency permits illegally. They know that with permanent residency, citizenship isn't far off, and they're hoping we won't see through their game. This wasn't just some random group either. It was a specific faction under the African Diaspora Forum in Johannesburg. Patriots. You might remember the African Diaspora Forum, led by Zimbabwean fraudster Dr. Vusi Sabanda, who was caught with fake South African documents. This faction wasn't asking for citizenship, or so they claim. They said they were only after permanent residency. But we all know what that means. A few years down the line, they'll be pushing for full citizenship. The Economist, representing these 5,000 Ethiopian migrants, tried to spin it as a win-win situation, saying it would ease unemployment in South Africa while addressing the root causes of Ethiopian migration. Now, Patriots, let's think about this. Ethiopia, a country plagued by poverty, unemployment, and a lack of education, claims they can come here and create jobs for South Africans. Meanwhile, millions of Ethiopians living in South Africa don't even have a meaningful existence here. They're struggling, yet they're selling us this dream of economic salvation. Let's talk numbers, patriots. Ethiopia's GDP is around $160 billion, with a GDP per capita of about $1,000. Compare that to South Africa's GDP per capita of almost $7,000. Ethiopia's economy is 7 times poorer than ours, yet they're here talking about billions as if they're rolling in wealth. If they're sitting on all this capital, why didn't they invest in their own country? It's laughable. They should be using these billions to help Ethiopia, not trying to buy residency here. Remember, patriots, these are the same people who claim there's war in their country, yet they expect us to believe they're billionaires who will fix South Africa's economy. Even Zimbabwe, with all its struggles, is in better shape than Ethiopia. And mark my words, if Nigeria's economy keeps going downhill, Zimbabwe's GDP per capita might surpass Nigeria's, especially if Nigerians don't start practicing birth control. Meanwhile, Ethiopia's economy is falling apart, and they're trying to convince us that we need their illegal operations here in South Africa. So, patriots, what's your take on all this? Is this just another sneaky way of selling off our country? Or could there be some kind of economic benefit hidden in this deal? Let's be real though. If they were serious about economic growth, they'd be fixing their own countries, not trying to exploit ours. Let's talk about it.